Greetings, Dave Dickinson here from AstroGuys.com, and I thought I would start this pre-show weekly space hangout Periscope a tiny bit early, and just to see what kind of internet connection I'm getting. I'm over here in Spain still. We're in rural Spain. Our internet connection's kind of touch and go. It's been pretty good the last few days, so I'm going to see. Let me know out there in Periscope land what kind of connection you guys are getting over there watching this, because that will tell me whether I'm getting a good feed. It seems like I'm getting about half a meg up and a meg down, so that's not too bad for a connection. So I thought I would try this. Hey, Phil, Protostar joined. Cool. Very cool. I'm doing this a few minutes early. The weekly space hangout's going to start at the top of the hour, as far as I know. We're going to be talking, of course, about SpaceX and what happened today with the launch and the landing. That was very cool. And about SpaceX, probably we're going to talk about their plan to go to Mars. I'm probably going to be talking about the transit of Mercury Monday. And hey, we got some more viewers. Cool. And I'm also going to be talking about Comet X1 pan-stars. Hey, Dave, back from Europe yet? No, we're in Europe. We're here. We're here living and working, kind of. Actually, we're going to be leaving Spain for Morocco in about 2 weeks or so. What you see right now is the Andalusian hills out here. You probably can't see the cows roaming about and everything, but we're about to. We love it over here. This is great. It's when the Wi-Fi works, it's awesome. So this is what we've been wanting to do. So we're traveling and working, and hopefully in 2 weeks you'll hear from us in Morocco. That's going to be interesting too. I've never been there. Spain I had never been to for any length of time, so it's been kind of interesting. Similar to Italy, which I had lived in, but a little more laid back, and it's actually fun to travel over here. It's definitely, the weather's been good. This weekend's kind of the exception. We got kind of a rainy day right now this weekend, but we're going to go out. We've been doing some day trips out to different castles and areas. The town we're in is called Gemina de la Frontera. And I've been able to do some astronomy here too. I don't have a telescope with me, but I do have my DSLR on a tripod that I brought with me with a fairly good all-around lens for doing daytime photography and doing some night sky astrophotography. And I also have my binoculars with me. I don't have them in here right now. I have my image stabilized binoculars, so I'm out. We had a run of very good nights. It's pretty dark here. We get a little bit of light pollution from down toward Tangier and Gibraltar. We can see Gibraltar from the porch here, incidentally, so we're that close to the Med. On a cool day, you can see a clear day, you can see almost all the way down to the Med. But what I was thinking about talking about was Comet X1 pan-stars brightening up right now, brightening up ahead of expectations, past perihelion in April. I have not seen this comet yet. The moon just passed by it. Actually, the moon occulted the comet on the morning of Wednesday this week. But of course, it was 8th magnitude. I don't think anybody observed the occultation. The occultation of a comet is kind of tough to see unless the comet is really bright. The comet is right near what's called the circlet of Pisces, the asterism in the constellation Pisces in the early morning sky, and is crossing the ecliptic southward this morning, this weekend actually. So now is the time to see this comet. It's moving over into Aquarius and is going to be heading into southern constellations. This comet was found in 2013. It's not scheduled to get brighter than at the end of June. It reaches its closest point to Earth and it gets about maybe 6 magnitude. But this comet, post-perihelion comets like to brighten up. So it's kind of interesting that I would keep an eye on this one. It seems to have gotten brighter than predictions. That light curve, it's about 2 magnitudes brighter than that when you see it. So we might have a naked eye 5th, maybe 4.5 magnitude comet come this summer. However, of course, hi David, it's been a very long time since I visited Frontera. Oh, very cool. Very cool. This is a cool town, actually, if you've ever been through here. So we're enjoying it. We have done some day trips out to Ronda and Castellar, and there's a town called Los Angeles next here actually called Los Angeles, much smaller than the real Los Angeles. So we've been enjoying it. We've been enjoying just having some time to sit and write and get some things done. And kind of we're traveling, but we're traveling very slow in that we're maybe changing our base camp. I've traveled very fast before, and it's not much fun. It's fun. You get to see a lot of stuff. If you're somewhere like we were in Cambodia, we were every other day. We were moving a little quicker there, and in Jordan, Israel, we were moving every other day too. But then it's like on a day that you're moving, especially when you're going bus to taxi to bus to, it's enough to go point A to point B. And then when you get there, you just want to like, where's my bed? Where's the ATM? Where's the laundry? So you're not doing a lot of touristy stuff. Then on touristy days, you're mostly dedicated to that. So you're not getting a lot of writing. It's hard as a writer to actually find time to, and you're problem solving all that stuff too. Whereas when you're on a package tour, they already, all you have to do is show up and they have the bus aligned and the boat aligned and all that stuff planned and where the hotel is. And we've landed in places and we're like when we first landed in Spain the first night, we were like, I don't know where our bed's going to be, and it's 3 in the because where we called ahead to was booked full. We found a bed. We always do. I always tell myself that we find a bed regardless. So, but it's disconcerting to land somewhere strange at 3 in the morning, and you're kind of like, I'm just going to be here at the taxi stand or whatever with my luggage, and maybe I might end up sleeping on the bench until noon, till we can start. Maybe my phone works in a strange country, maybe not, which in Spain it actually did, which was cool. We found that our T-Mobile plan worked here well. They throttle us down to 2G speeds instead of 3G, so, but, hey, it's functional. Google Maps works. So I'm driving the rental car around. I have the phone up there, and Google Maps is working pretty well. Morocco, it's not going to work. I looked ahead, so we may have to, and I've done this before too, you buy the local SIM chips. Our phone is unlocked internationally. You swap them out, you put the SIM chips in, and you've got a local phone. So that's going to be kind of cool. Have fun with Fraser's new Zoom software. Okay, I know not what you're talking about, but I'll probably find out about that here in a few minutes, actually, when we go into the weekly Space Hangout. Other big topic coming up, transit of Mercury. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and this is Monday, so we're going to be, we're not doing any public observing for this. I'm probably going to be watching this via, you're going to need some optics to see this, and there's 2 safe ways you're going to be able to do it, is either by a solar filter, which is an approved solar filter, which fixes onto the front of your telescope and uses like botter film. You can home make a telescope with botter film and you make a solar mask and goes around the front. Or you can buy the expensive glass filters, although probably you might get one from Orion on Rush from Amazon by Monday. By now it's Friday. The other way that's simple to do, depending on what kind of optical configuration you got, is to project it onto a piece of paper. Like you have your telescope, your paper, you aim at the sun, and then you've got the little disc in the background, and you can, if you get a big enough disc, now don't get it where it's a really tiny disc, because you can set paper on fire if you're using a pretty powerful refractor or a 6-inch Newtonian. You want to get it back enough so you get a big disc, because Mercury is going to be really tiny. Mercury is going to be like 9 arc seconds across, and the sun is 30 arc minutes across. So the sun is 630. The sun is 180 times larger in diameter than Mercury is. So you're not going to be able to see it with solar glasses. You're going to need some magnification. However, you want to do the proper magnification. Don't use solar glasses with optics because again, they'll burn right through those little flimsy plastic lenses. Don't use the old telescopes. If you're old enough, and I actually had one of these, and it's amazing, they would never market these now. When I was a kid, they used to have the 60 millimeter refractors that had the eyepiece filters that screwed onto the eyepiece, which you're focusing all that heat against the filter. It's amazing. I've seen these things get cracked. There's a good YouTube video where somebody shows one of these things getting cracked by the sun. It's amazing. They used to even, if you have, or you get one of these, I still see them at yard sales occasionally with the screw-on eyepiece filters. In the olden days, they used to use pretty dangerous looking contraptions as well that employed smoked glass or filters filled with oil, like a meniscus filled with oil. Again, these are all not approved to view the sun. You need either filter on the front of the telescope that is an approved filter, or you need to project it onto a piece of paper. It's the safest way. And if you're projecting it onto a piece of paper, especially if you're doing this in public, you got to stay there and make sure nobody accidentally looks through it. So you got to make sure, because people will try to duck down and look in the eyepiece. I've had this happen projecting the sun before. So you want to keep a frosty eye on everybody, especially kids. They'll want to go up. I keep the focuser. I either physically remove the finder scope from the telescope, or I make sure it's covered up in a way that they can't uncover it, because people will try to duck down and look through the finder scope, or while it's aimed at the sun. So there's a lot of precautions you got to take. Oh, and this article I wrote today on Astro Guys, make sure if you're doing public outreach, when I was doing the last transit of Mercury in 2006, make sure you stay hydrated and you have some shade to duck into near your scope, because I was doing this in Tucson and I did okay, but the transit was like 5 hours long, and this one's like, I believe, 7 hours long. And you can, by default, you're standing out in the sun that whole time, especially if it's midday. You can get pretty dehydrated and overheated really quick. I think I was courting heat exhaustion that day when I did that one. I made it okay, but yeah, make sure you get some water and have some kind of shade to duck under, even if it's an umbrella or something like that. This transit is going to be visible from the Middle East, where it's going to be a sunrise kind of transit, like Asia, Far East, Middle East, and then Europe is going to get it. Here in Spain, we're going to get it in the mid-afternoon, and over in North and South America, they're going to be getting it towards sunrise. So it's kind of interesting. The next one is until 2019, then the next one is in the 2030s, I believe. So if you remember the transit, they're pretty leisurely affairs to watch, but it's kind of cool to just see the little black dot of Mercury crossing over the face of the sun. So, all right, I think that's about it for what I was going to talk about and for what's going on observationally. I'll give everybody about a minute here. I'm just glad this worked. I didn't think I was going to get a periscope connection. It took me a while to get through. I'm going to give everybody a 1 minute warning here for any questions, anything going on astronomy-wise, travel, Spain, universe today, telescopes, observing the sun, anything out there. See, I still got a few followers hanging on. I'll put this up on YouTube afterwards too. You're seeing the part of our, we're staying in a long-term rental. We were in an Airbnb, which Airbnb served us very well here in Spain. We've had some amazing stays. We're gonna, it's almost getting to the point, I've done so many Airbnbs, I forgot what hotels are like. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember hotels. So it's like where you got a little box and there's a bed. Hotels in Europe, especially if you're 3-star or under, are very tiny. And I've done hostels and we've done bunks, where there's like a bunch of bunks in a room, and that can be kind of fun. But Airbnb is kind of cool because, and I wrote about this on Astro Guys, you actually get to live like a local. You actually get to live, where you've got your own little kitchen, and you get to figure out the Euro washer and dryer, and you're like, hey, there's the washers in the kitchen, huh? That's kind of different. Or you got a little capsule shower, or you got a fireplace, or you got, the last place we're at, we're on a street, and there's a little market guy across the street, and cars going by, and the bread guy coming selling bread, and you get the rhythm of the town, and it's, and we're living cheaper here than with a rental car in an apartment than we were for our mortgage back in Florida. So you can't beat that. So it's pretty decent. So, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap up this weekly space Hangout pre-show. Weekly space Hangout is in 14 minutes. Hope my Wi-Fi holds on enough that I can join in. Periscope seems to give me some confidence that you've been having siestas. Oh yeah, we wine and siestas are the order of the day here. What's really cool is we're 6 hours ahead of the East Coast. So doing my writing and my working, I'm not getting interrupted by emails or phone calls or anything like that in the morning. I get up here 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I've usually got my writing day done by noon, and then we can either go out and like, hey, let's hike up to the castle in town, or let's go out and do something, and we still got time to come back, take a nap, and then do dinner. And it just seems like, we've got all this time and work is still getting done. So, yeah, siestas, I highly advise. It's an American tradition we need to adopt. So, all right. See you at the Weekly Space Hangout in about 13 minutes, Wi-Fi willing.